Great to be with you, Paul.
Lovely to see you. So one of the nice guys of American politics tried to be nice while running for president and no one wanted him. Tim Scott is out, and where he sends his 1 or 2% of the vote, let's see.
Yeah, that's not really going to make much of a difference. However, I do think it's interesting that Tim Scott, because as Charles C.W. Cook of National Review put it, was actually running for president, decided to bail when he realized it wasn't going to happen. That's exactly what happened with Mike Pence, too. They were actually running for president. They came to the harsh reality it wasn't going to happen. And for the good of the country and themselves, they stepped aside. Chris Christie is not running to be president. Chris Christie is running just to sling mud at Donald Trump as often and as powerfully as he can. And so why doesn't he get out? He's not going to win anything. He has zero chance of getting the nomination. Okay, so he can stay in. He can be somewhat of a spoiler. It's annoying. And honestly, at this point, you could argue it's unpatriotic. Same thing is true for, let's see, I don't know. I mean, I guess that would leave us with 3. You got Vivek, Nikki, and Ron DeSantis after Chris Christie. Now, Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis have a shot. Vivek has no shot. I know he has a lot of supporters, but his poll numbers have done this steadily since the first debate. So he's going in the wrong direction, and he wasn't starting up very high. His peak was like 11%, which is around where Ron DeSantis has hovered. But you cannot wrest the nomination away from Haley and DeSantis. And, oh, yeah, there's a matter of Donald Trump, who's 60 points ahead of Vivek, or 55, at 5% support. So what's he doing in there? It's really a head-to-head match at this point between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. And if one of them doesn't cede the field, they're going to lose again to Donald Trump. So we're in a similar situation to the one we were in 2015-16 when Trump won. Despite the fact that there was a majority of the Republican Party who wanted somebody else, they just couldn't agree on who it was. And unless one of these two people bows out, and they're not going to anytime soon, we're going to go right back to where we were, and the rest of the field will not consolidate, and it will remain as it has been, which is Trump's for the taking.
Yeah, I think in the end it has to end up being Trump versus Haley. DeSantis' position on abortion is just a non-starter at 6 weeks going into a national campaign, regardless of anything else. I remember we talked about that at the time. I know the support over time. I know the money, all the rest of it, right? But, I mean, literally when Ohio is passing abortion legislation, places like Kansas, Kentucky, you take your pick. The guy who's the 6-week man out of Florida, he's got no shot, if he even was a chance, of eventually becoming the nominee.
Well, that's why he's kind of backing off of it a little, saying, I really think it's a ground-up issue, it's a bottom-up issue, and it's really up to the states to figure out what they want to do. And that's okay. That's a fine position. But he's also speaking out of both sides of his mouth, because he's kind of referenced, yes, I'd sign a federal law. Well, which is it? You think it's a federal issue, or you think it's an issue for the states? Because if you think it's a federal issue, that's a very big deal, and it will come back to haunt you as an electoral matter, as opposed to somebody like Vivek or Nikki Haley, who's been sort of forcing it more on a state-by-state experiment from the beginning. I mean, Vivek's been very clear on that. Ron DeSantis has kind of got himself in some trouble there. And I think his biggest problem, though, Paul, is not that he's not going to be palatable for a general electorate. His biggest problem is he doesn't appear to be palatable to the Republican electorate. He's been in this race for a year now plus, and where's the momentum? Where's the surge? Where's the powerful groups behind him driving the poll numbers up? Continue to wait. We're, 2 months now from the first vote? Nothing's happened.